In 938 AD, a forgotten river held a deadly secret, crafted to shatter an empire's ambition forever. Horns blare, arrows fly, as an invading fleet becomes ensnared, consumed by a watery grave. One man's audacious vision, a strategic masterpiece, would finally reclaim a nation's destiny from foreign chains. Centuries before modern maps, a land known as Annam endured a millennium of brutal foreign domination. From distant dynasties, a giant shadow stretched, suppressing identity, stifling freedom for over 1,000 years. But beneath the yoke, the spirit of resistance simmered, awaiting its moment to ignite into open rebellion. This is the Bach Dang, an unassuming river destined to become the stage for epic defiance. In 938, the Southern Han Empire, a formidable new power, launched its greatest invasion fleet south. They sought to crush the nascent independence, to reimpose their will, to secure total dominion. Against this overwhelming might stood Ngô Quyền, a leader of extraordinary courage and strategic genius. He rallied a fractured people, forging them into a unified, resolute force, ready to fight for their homeland. His plan was audacious, born of deep understanding of his land and the river's treacherous currents. Thousands of massive timber stakes, tipped with razor-sharp iron, were secretly prepared for battle. These deadly hidden spears would transform the river into an impassable fortress, a watery grave. Unaware of the impending doom, the colossal Southern Han armada surged forward, confident in their might. Vietnamese forces feigned retreat, drawing the unsuspecting invaders further into the river's deadly embrace. As the tide began its treacherous ebb, Ngô Quyền trap was sprung, sealing the enemy's fate. The river, once a pathway, became a chaotic graveyard, shattering the invading fleet piece by piece. The Battle of Bach Dang was not merely a victory, it was a devastating annihilation, a turning point. A millennium of foreign chains was finally broken, and a new era of independence dawned for Vietnam. This tactical masterpiece forged an independent nation, securing a legacy of freedom against all odds. Join us as we dive deep into this epic resistance war, revealing the ingenuity that freed a nation. For over 1,000 years, a shadow fell across this ancient land, shaping its destiny profoundly. This was Bach Dang, the Northern Domination, an era of relentless subjugation under successive Chinese dynasties. Imperial forces arrived, bringing administrative structures, laws, and a new dominant cultural paradigm. Daily life became a testament to foreign rule, burdened by heavy taxes and enforced cultural assimilation. A millennium of chains. Generation after generation knew only the harsh reality of foreign dominion. Grand imperial structures rose, symbolizing the invaders' power and their determination to reshape the land. But what of the soul of a nation? The fight for cultural identity became an existential struggle. The brutal reality meant forced labor, punitive laws, and the relentless extraction of precious resources. Vietnamese resilience was forged in the crucible of oppression, yet their spirit remained unbroken. Indigenous traditions were suppressed, local customs outlawed, replaced by imperial edicts and practices. Sacred sites desecrated, traditional beliefs challenged, a systematic effort to erase a people's heritage. The imperial language and education systems were imposed, seeking to absorb and redefine the native population. Yet, beneath the surface, ancient knowledge and the true spirit of Viet culture endured, secretly preserved. Despite suppression, the colors and patterns of Vietnamese identity persisted, woven into the fabric of life. Generations endured this systematic erosion, but the spark of selfhood never truly extinguished. A quiet, unwavering spirit of resistance simmered, passed down through whispers and forbidden tales. Secret gatherings and coded messages kept the flame of rebellion alive, despite severe imperial surveillance. Traditional symbols, forbidden folklore, and shared memories became powerful symbols of defiance. The unwavering spirit of resistance was a deep river, flowing silently, gathering strength over centuries. Numerous rebellions, though often brutally crushed, sowed seeds of defiance for future generations. The memory of independence, though distant, was a powerful, inherited promise for a free future. Across the northern borders, a new power was rising, the ambitious Southern Han Dynasty. Opulent and expansionist, the Southern Han court harbored immense imperial ambitions, eyeing new conquests. Their gaze fell upon the rich lands to the south, seeing only resources and strategic advantages. The Southern Han possessed a formidable military, their hunger for expansion an unstoppable force. The pressure on the Vietnamese territories intensified, a dark cloud gathering on the horizon. Fleets were assembled, armies mustered. The Southern Han prepared to assert their imperial will. Leaders and strategists among the Vietnamese watched, understanding the dire threat now looming. The stage was set for an inevitable dramatic clash, a confrontation that would redefine a nation. The millennium of foreign rule would soon face its ultimate challenge by the waters of Bach Dang. From these ancient lands emerged a leader destined to challenge empire. Ngô Quyền, a name echoing defiance. Charismatic and visionary, he embodied the spirit of a people refusing to surrender their independence. Yet, the looming shadow of the Southern Han Empire threatened to extinguish their hard-won sovereignty once more. Born into a respected lineage, Ngô Quyền early life forged a warrior and a strategist. He quickly distinguished himself, displaying innate leadership and a deep understanding of local defense. Witnessing past invasions, he understood the brutal cost of division and the necessity of unity. His reputation grew, a beacon of hope among a people weary of foreign dominion and constant threats. Ngô Quyền possessed a strategic genius, a mind capable of envisioning innovative solutions against formidable odds. The Southern Han, a formidable power, had long cast its imperial shadow over the fragmented southern lands. Their history was one of relentless expansion, often attempting to crush any semblance of Vietnamese autonomy. For the Vietnamese, this was more than a battle. It was a desperate struggle for their very existence. Failure meant complete absorption into the Southern Han Empire, erasing their distinct culture forever. Ngô Quyền keenly understood the gravity of the impending invasion and the ultimate price of defeat. He began the arduous task of rallying disparate Vietnamese forces, facing entrenched rivalries and old feuds. His charisma was undeniable, persuading reluctant factions to set aside differences for a greater cause. He painted a vivid picture of a unified front, a powerful force capable of resisting any foreign invader. Meticulously, he forged strategic alliances, weaving a complex web of trust and shared purpose among them. Overcoming centuries of internal division, Ngô Quyền sought to harness their collective strength against a common foe. He walked among the people, understanding their fears and hopes, earning their unwavering loyalty and respect. Under his guidance, disparate regional militias transformed into a cohesive, disciplined fighting force for their nation. Time was critical. Every moment counted as the Southern Han juggernaut prepared its final, crushing assault. A fierce resolve grew within the people, fueled by Ngô Quyền unwavering belief in their potential. His leadership solidified, transforming fragmented resistance into a single, formidable will to defend their homeland. From scattered factions, a unified front emerged, ready to face the might of the Southern Han. Ngô Quyền became more than a general. He was the protector of the South, the guardian of their spirit. Their courage was not reckless, but a hardened defiance born from generations of struggle against oppression. With Ngô Quyền leading, their determination burned bright, an unyielding flame against the encroaching darkness. On the brink of another foreign invasion, Vietnam stood unified, poised for a fight for ultimate freedom. Ngô Quyền meticulously refined his strategy, knowing the fate of his nation rested on this pivotal moment. Their spirit unbroken, Ngô Quyền had forged a nation ready to fight for its very soul and future. Amidst the looming shadow of invasion, one man conceived a brilliant, audacious plan. This is the story of Ngô Quyền, a tactical genius whose mind became his nation's greatest weapon. Facing an overwhelming enemy, he knew conventional battle offered little hope of victory. Ngô Quyền sought not just to win a battle, but to break the enemy's will entirely. The Southern Han fleet, a formidable force, relentlessly pressed its advance into Vietnamese waters. Their objective was clear: to crush the emerging Vietnamese independence once and for all. With invasion imminent, Ngô Quyền meticulously studied every contour, every waterway, seeking an advantage. His gaze settled on one crucial location, the treacherous, tide-swept waters of the Bach Dang River. The Bach Dang, a natural artery, became the canvas for Ngô Quyền ingenious, deadly design. Its unique geography, a natural choke point, offered the perfect stage for a devastating ambush. This was the gateway to the heartland, and the only viable path for the enemy fleet. Flanked by impenetrable forests and muddy shores, escape would prove virtually impossible. Ngô Quyền saw not a river, but a meticulously designed, inescapable death trap for the enemy. The river's powerful, unpredictable currents would become another silent, yet deadly, ally. The serene river was about to be transformed into a battleground, unlike any seen before. This precise location, chosen with unparalleled foresight, would dictate the battle's brutal terms. But Ngô Quyền understood an even more powerful force, the relentless, surging rhythm of the tides. At high tide, the river seemed deep, wide, and deceptively welcoming for any approaching fleet. Yet, with the ebb, its hidden dangers emerged, exposing treacherous shallows and muddy shores. His strategists meticulously charted the tidal cycles, calculating their precise timing and force. The tides would be Ngô Quyền clock, turning the river into a natural, devastating executioner's tool. Predicting these movements with ancient wisdom, they unlocked the river's latent, destructive potential. The river's very breath, its ebb and flow, would dictate the fate of the invading army. Ngô Quyền planned to wield the very ocean against his enemies, a master of its ancient power. The river chosen, preparation began. Thousands of trees were felled, their mighty trunks echoing through the forest. A colossal effort, demanding immense labor, was undertaken in complete secrecy by his loyal forces. These ancient giants, once living sentinels, were destined to become instruments of war. Every tree cut, every log moved, was part of a grand, meticulously orchestrated strategic maneuver. Under the cloak of night, and through relentless days, the Vietnamese prepared their hidden weapon. The riverbanks transformed into a staging ground, bristling with the raw materials of their defense. From towering trees, Ngô Quyền envisioned something sharper, more deadly, waiting beneath the surface. A nation rallied, their collective strength shaping the very landscape into an impenetrable barrier. Skilled hands began the painstaking work of crafting thousands of sharpened stakes from the felled timber. Each wooden spear was honed to a razor-sharp point, capable of piercing enemy hulls with ease. Crucially, many were tipped with salvaged iron, transforming them into formidable, ship-shattering weapons. This innovation ensured maximum destructive power, designed to rend and tear through enemy vessels. Thousands upon thousands of these deadly implements were prepared, a silent army waiting for their moment. All work was done in utmost secrecy, shielded from any prying eyes of enemy scouts or spies. This was an unseen, unyielding army, silently rising from the heart of the Vietnamese land itself. Ngô Quyền personally oversaw every detail, ensuring the trap's lethality was absolute. Under the veil of darkness, the deadly stakes were moved, their purpose still hidden from the world. With painstaking effort, thousands were driven vertically into the riverbed, precisely at the choke point. At high tide, the river appeared calm, concealing the deadly, sharpened forest lying in wait below. The trap was set. The Bach Dang River, now a silent predator, awaited its unsuspecting prey. The year 938. A storm of ambition brewed, threatening to engulf an emerging nation in Southeast Asia. From the north, an overwhelming force materialized. The Southern Han Dynasty prepared its grand invasion. This was no mere skirmish. It was a full-scale conquest, a demonstration of imperial might and dominance. The Southern Han fleet, a formidable collection of warships, set its sights on the Red River Delta. Their objective: to reassert control, to crush any semblance of Vietnamese independence forevermore. Each vessel was packed with seasoned warriors, a veteran force confident in their overwhelming numerical superiority. The target was Đại Việt, a land yearning for freedom, yet once again facing a titanic imperial adversary. This was the vanguard of a powerful empire, believing its manifest destiny lay in subjugating the southern lands. Leading this colossal expedition was Liu Hoang-thao, the sixth son of the Southern Han Emperor. A prince of arrogance, he saw this campaign not as a challenge, but as a swift, inevitable triumph. His father, the emperor, had tasked him with crushing Ngô Quyền forces, once and for all. He envisioned an easy victory, a swift subjugation that would solidify his status within the imperial court. The Han forces were well-trained, disciplined, and equipped with the finest weapons and naval technology. Their advance was relentless, a storm of ships pushing ever closer to the unsuspecting Vietnamese coast. Yet, these were not merely open seas. The coastline held secrets, treacherous waterways known only to locals. Hoang-thao saw only victory, unaware that every ripple, every shadow, was being meticulously observed. The journey inland began, the immense fleet squeezing through the winding, unfamiliar estuarial passages. Beneath the turbid currents, a silent, deadly secret awaited their approach. A trap meticulously laid. Despite their overwhelming might, the unfamiliar terrain began to sow subtle seeds of apprehension among the crew. The deep-drafted ships, designed for open seas, now struggled in the shallower, winding river channels. This was a landscape Ngô Quyền knew intimately. Every hidden nook and every treacherous sandbank. Their advance was a testament to their resolve, yet also to their overconfidence in their perceived superiority. Ngô Quyền had studied every current, every tide, transforming the river into his ultimate weapon. The Southern Han juggernaut rumbled forward, certain of crushing all resistance in its path. Hoang-thao's initial confidence remained unshaken. He believed Ngô Quyền forces were no match. They anticipated minimal resistance, a quick skirmish before establishing firm control over the region. The arrogance of an empire, assured of its power, often blinded it to the cunning of a determined foe. As the fleet advanced, they encountered deserted villages, a landscape deliberately emptied of its people. This perceived lack of opposition only reinforced their belief in a swift, decisive, and effortless victory. The Southern Han forces were a beacon of imperial ambition, a storm ready to unleash its full fury. They meticulously planned their landing points, their supply routes, and their subsequent occupation strategy. Yet, every movement, every advance, was being meticulously tracked by Ngô Quyền hidden eyes. Ngô Quyền, a master tactician, knew precisely how to leverage his limited forces against a superior foe. His strategy was simple yet audacious. A controlled retreat, drawing the enemy into a prearranged kill zone. Vietnamese skirmishers engaged the Han advance guard, then swiftly withdrew, feigning disorganization and fear. This cowardice only further fueled the Han's overconfidence, encouraging them to pursue with greater zeal. The bait was taken. The immense Southern Han fleet was lured deeper into the winding river system. With every yard gained, the Han ships sailed closer to their doom, unaware of the hidden menace below. Ngô Quyền forces played a dangerous waiting game, every fiber of their being poised for the perfect strike. Hidden along the riverbanks, thousands of Vietnamese warriors held their breath, disciplined and ready to unleash fury. The river, a silent accomplice, began its subtle shift, exposing the razor-sharp teeth of Ngô Quyền trap. Tension crackled in the air, the invaders oblivious, the defenders anticipating the precise moment to strike. The moment approached, the culmination of Ngô Quyền brilliant high-stakes gamble against an empire. They were deep inside the trap now. The stage was set for one of history's most epic naval ambushes. The Bach Dang, a river of legend, now awakens. A new dawn breaks over a nation yearning for freedom. Ngô Quyền forces, hidden along the riverbanks, prepare to defend their homeland against the invaders. From the south, the mighty Southern Han fleet, confident in its naval superiority, advances with overwhelming force. The initial clashes explode. Vietnamese warriors, outmatched in size, engage the enemy with fierce determination. Arrows arc across the water. A deadly dance begins. The river surface churns with the fury of battle. Boarding parties engage, a desperate struggle for every inch of deck. The fate of a nation hangs in the balance. Then, a prearranged signal. The Vietnamese begin their tactical withdrawal, luring the enemy deeper inland. A calculated risk. The smaller Vietnamese vessels disappear upriver, feigning panic, drawing the Han into the trap. The Han admiral, seeing an easy victory, orders his entire fleet to press the advantage, eager to crush resistance. Overconfident, the Southern Han sailors roar with triumph. They perceive retreat, not cunning strategy, fueling their pursuit. A formidable armada surges forward, their powerful vessels slicing through the water, rushing towards an unseen fate. The Vietnamese, masters of their river, skillfully lead the unsuspecting invaders deeper into the heart of the ambush. The river narrows, the banks close in. The Southern Han fleet, immense and unwieldy, presses relentlessly onward. Unaware of the danger, the Han ships push forward, their wakes disturbing the tranquil surface of the death trap. The Han general watches, oblivious. His victory seems assured, his ambition reaching its apex, moments from disaster. The last Vietnamese vessels vanish, leaving the mighty Southern Han fleet alone, perfectly positioned within the deadly ambush. With no sign of further resistance, the Southern Han fleet presses on, believing their victory is now certain. The entire armada is now committed, a sprawling line of ships trapped within the tightening embrace of the river. The tide, a silent conspirator, begins its relentless retreat, slowly draining the river's treacherous depths. Beneath the surface, the carefully calibrated natural forces begin to exert their immense power, sealing their fate. Confusion spreads. Sailors notice the receding waters, the shifting currents, and the unexpected shallowing of the river. Alarm bells ring among the more experienced navigators. The river's depth is drastically different from their charts. Desperate warnings go unheeded. The momentum of the fleet, once an asset, now becomes its most fatal flaw. Then, the first shudder. A horrifying jolt ripples through the flagship as it grinds against an unseen menace, the riverbed's hidden teeth. Massive iron-tipped stakes, submerged for this moment, tear into the ship's bellies. A horrifying sound of splintering wood echoes across the water. The river becomes a death trap, impossible to navigate. Across the fleet, cries of alarm. More ships impact, trapped, helpless as the tide continues its relentless ebb. The river becomes a horrifying maze of jagged timber. The formidable Southern Han fleet is now crippled, immobile. The admiral watches in utter disbelief, his proud armada rendered useless, shattered by an enemy he underestimated. Panic grips the invaders. Soldiers scramble, some abandoning their sinking vessels, only to face the treacherous riverbed. The river, once a pathway for invasion, has become a watery tomb. The trap has sprung shut with devastating finality. Desperate, futile struggles. The Southern Han sailors fight against the river itself, unable to break free from the trap. The once proud fleet is now a stationary target, a vulnerable, sprawling mess of broken ships, awaiting its doom. Now, the true attack begins. From the banks, Ngô Quyền gives the signal. The hunter becomes the hunted. From the tree-lined shores, thousands of Vietnamese warriors emerge, their roars echoing across the devastated river. Swift, deadly boats, previously unseen, now dart across the river, closing in on the immobile, trapped enemy. A deadly hail of arrows and javelins rains down, striking exposed soldiers on the crippled, helpless Han vessels. Fire explodes on deck. Flaming arrows ignite sails and rigging, turning the trapped armada into a raging inferno. Vietnamese warriors, fueled by vengeance, swarm the decks. The trapped Southern Han soldiers face inevitable defeat. The fight is brutal, short, and decisive. The invaders, demoralized and trapped, offer little meaningful resistance. Resistance crumbles. The Southern Han command structure dissolves in chaos, their once proud banners falling. The Bach Dang River flows red with sacrifice. The invading fleet is systematically annihilated, ship by burning ship. A crushing, total annihilation. The once mighty Southern Han invasion force is utterly destroyed, never to return. Ngô Quyền watches. His ingenious trap secured not just a victory, but the eternal freedom of his Vietnamese nation. The roar of battle fades, replaced by an eerie silence. Bach Dang is a graveyard for invaders' dreams. Victory is undeniable. On the riverbanks, Vietnamese warriors stand, their long struggle finally reaching a defining moment. The symbols of foreign power lie shattered, trampled underfoot. A millennium of subjugation begins to unravel. Ngô Quyền, the architect of this trap, witnesses the dawn of a new era. His vision has delivered liberation. The immediate chaos subsides, giving way to a silence pregnant with meaning. A nation holds its collective breath. From the river's edge, the incredible news travels. Speeding through the land, freedom's message awakens a nation. Faces etched with doubt and hope absorb the impossible truth. Could it be true? Is the long night truly over? Disbelief transforms into dawning understanding, then overwhelming joy. A truth too monumental to grasp, yet undeniable. For over 1,000 years, foreign empires dictated their lives. A heavy shadow obscured Vietnam's inherent sovereignty. Generations endured, their spirit unyielding, yet bound by the chains of foreign authority. A yearning for self-rule. The land itself bore the scars of perpetual struggle, its very identity often blurred, sometimes nearly erased. Yet, beneath the surface, the flame of national identity burned. A silent, persistent resistance endured through centuries. Suddenly, it dawns. The crushing weight has lifted. Not just a battle won, but an entire era concluded. Emotional release erupts, a primal cry of freedom echoing across the land. A millennia of suffering now culminates in joy. From quiet whispers to a resounding chorus, national pride surges. Banners, long hidden, now fly high. A unified people, bound by shared heritage and newfound liberty, rejoice as one. Vietnam breathes free at last. The sun rises on a new Vietnam, bathed in the light of self-determination, a dawn unlike any other. Bach Dang wasn't merely a victory, it was a profound historical shift. An era of foreign domination concluded definitively. The sacrifices of ancestors, the dreams of generations, finally realized. A destiny long fought for, now secured. For these children, a future unwritten by foreign decree awaits. A legacy of independence begins today. With newfound freedom comes the rebuilding of a nation, crafting its own destiny, asserting its unique identity. The river, once a trap for invaders, now flows as a symbol of sovereignty. The roar of freedom continues to echo. After a millennium, Vietnam stands, resolute and independent. A new era, forged in battle, born of unwavering spirit. The echoes of Bach Dang faded, but its impact resonated far beyond the shattered Southern Han fleet. The victory transcended a single battle, marking a pivotal turning point in Vietnam's long struggle for freedom. Ngô Quyền emerged not just as a general, but as the architect of a new, sovereign Vietnamese future. After the decisive river trap, Ngô Quyền meticulously consolidated power, uniting the fractured land. The idea of true kingship, an independent Vietnam, began to take concrete form, inspiring the people. In 939, Ngô Quyền ascended the throne, declaring himself vua, king, of the new Vietnamese state. This was more than a change of leader. It was a profound declaration of national sovereignty and self-rule. His ascension marked the birth of the Ngô dynasty, the first truly independent Vietnamese ruling house. He immediately set about establishing an independent government, free from any foreign imperial influence. The victory at Bach Dang now culminated in the formal establishment of an independent, self-governing nation. This foundational triumph laid the irreversible groundwork for centuries of Vietnamese self-determination and resilience. The 1,000-year domination by Chinese empires finally ended, breaking the chains of subservience. Bach Dang heralded the birth of Đại Việt, forging a powerful identity among the unified Vietnamese people. The battle itself became a foundational strategic lesson, a blueprint for innovative defensive warfare. Future generations of Vietnamese strategists diligently studied Ngô Quyền ingenious riverine tactics. It taught the invaluable lesson of utilizing the terrain, adapting to threats, and innovative problem-solving. Ngô Quyền brilliant strategy inspired countless future leaders, shaping Vietnam's military genius profoundly. This victory deeply embedded itself into the Vietnamese national identity, a source of enduring pride. It fostered a collective spirit of resilience, a determination to protect independence at all costs. Bach Dang directly influenced Vietnamese military doctrine, prioritizing clever traps and resourceful defense over brute force. For centuries, the lessons of Bach Dang continued to guide defensive strategies, ensuring national sovereignty. Ngô Quyền legacy, born from the river's trap, secured Vietnam's independence and destiny for ages. The Bach Dang victory remains an eternal symbol, the river that freed a nation, forever etched in history. As our journey concludes, the Battle of Bach Dang in 938 echoes through history, a defining moment. It stands as an eternal testament to Vietnamese resilience, their spirit unyielding against overwhelming odds. More than brute force, it showcased astonishing ingenuity, a brilliant trap sprung on an unsuspecting foe. This was an unyielding fight for sovereignty, a desperate struggle to reclaim a nation's destiny. Bach Dang's enduring legacy is etched deep, a timeless lesson for all who seek freedom. It remains a towering symbol of national pride, inspiring generations to defend their homeland fiercely. Beyond the symbolism, it was an unparalleled display of tactical brilliance, perfectly executed river warfare. We invite you now to delve deeper into this rich tapestry of history, to uncover more. The past holds countless untold stories, waiting to be explored, shaping our understanding of today. If this epic saga resonated, please empower our work by hitting that like button now. Subscribe to A Leading Analysis channel for more epic historical analyses and unforgettable cinematic journeys. Share your invaluable thoughts in the comments below. Join the conversation and let your voice be heard. Become part of the A Leading Analysis channel community, where history enthusiasts unite and learn. Thank you for watching. Together, we illuminate history's greatest battles and the heroes who shaped them.